everyone, and welcome. You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Baso-Yahe coming to you from Los Angeles, California on this, the first day of October 2020. Tonight, we have updates from several of our correspondents across the U.S. Chai Masaka in Waldorf, Maryland.
Maryland State extends deadline for filing of 2020 property tax credit.
Carlo Valdez in Union Township reports about New Jersey launching a COVID-19 exposure notification app. Jane Kathleen Gregorio in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Texas governor announces enhancing ballot security. The city of San Antonio illuminates the town red to honor fallen firefighters. And Corpus Christi, a resident, uses her birthday to help the community.
Meritus Herrera in Granada Hills, California.
Los Angeles lays out the reopening timeline for schools and businesses throughout the county with restrictions.
Zach Lawrence in Miami, Florida reports about Broward County providing meal distribution through December of this year. For business news, Bobby Soriano in New York updates us on technology, airline furloughs, and the hope for a new stimulus package. For EBC Sports, Michael Hudson in Seattle, Washington reports about the Los Angeles Lakers dominating Game 1 of the finals while Miami Heat sustains significant injuries. And Abby Aragon in Florida brings us fan reactions to the Tampa Bay Lightning Stanley Cup victory. Plus, Aika Chong in Fremont, California teaches us how to make an apple galette. And to celebrate National Hair Day, we'll talk about the hairstyles you wish you never had. Feels like I'm being targeted here. But in any case, our coverage begins now. First, an overview of the COVID-19 situation. According to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University in Medicine, as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday, October 1, 2020, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now more than 34,100,000. Top three countries with the most number of recorded cases are the U.S. with 7.2 million, India with 6.3 million, and Brazil with 4.8 million. Sadly, this virus has now claimed more than 1 million lives worldwide, and the top three countries with the most number of COVID-19 related deaths are once again the U.S. at more than 207,000, Brazil at more than 143,000, and India at more than 98,000. Guatemalan military officials ask scores of mostly Honduran migrants to show identification as they attempt to cross a checkpoint after the U.S.-bound caravan entered the country through the Corinto border post between Guatemala and Honduras. Carrying backpacks and plastic bags, the migrants pushed past two lines of Guatemalan soldiers at the Entre Rios border crossing and continued northwards, defying the risks and restrictions linked to the coronavirus pandemic. The soldiers handed out water to passing migrants, some of whom applauded the troops for allowing them to pass. Guatemalan Migration Institute officials said some 3,000 people had crossed the border without submitting to a COVID-19 test required for foreigners entering the country. Many were not wearing masks against the spread of infection. Guatemala opened its borders last week after a 6-month closure to prevent the spread of the virus, which has hit Central American countries hard. The migrants had set off on Wednesday night from Honduras' second city, San Pedro Sula. Honduran Red Cross officials said 1,200 people left in a first group, joined a few hours later by around 2,000 more, walking north to the border with Guatemala. Some of the migrants said they recognized the risks of catching the coronavirus while on the move, but were prepared to take the risk to escape from high levels of poverty and violence in Honduras. Take a look.
No, y es que el gobierno no sirve y no nos ha aportado nada en lo que es en la pandemia. Muchos hemos perdido el trabajo y aquí andamos. Y entonces, ¿por dónde vamos? Para adelante, porque no tenemos trabajo, no tenemos nada que hacer. Y la pandemia los tiene en lo que es en la perra calle.
Pero más que todo se da por la situación del COVID-19. Resulta de que el país se vino en cuarentena, todos quedaron en el encierro, sin trabajo, pero los intereses en el banco de préstamos siempre iban corriendo.
Meanwhile, middle and high public schools in New York City are reopening for in-person classes for the first time since March after elementary students returned earlier this week. Once the epicenter of the pandemic, New York, which has the largest public schools system in the United States, is now the first big city in the country to reopen all its public schools. Andrew, an English literature teacher, says the likelihood of in-school transmission is less if students and teachers take to heart the health and safety guidelines.
I feel like if students follow the proper protocols, they wear masks, they keep those masks on, and follow social distancing requirements, everyone should be okay. I think the chances of transmission are much lower if those few simple procedures are followed in practice. In terms of the benefits to the students, I think they're innumerable. You know, they can't really be measured because they're that important. It's going to be challenging to be doing synchronous learning where some students are still working from home and others are in class. But that's just the nature of our situation right now. So.
Authorities said Tuesday New York's daily rate of positive coronavirus tests climbed to 3.25% over the last 24 hours. The elevated rate, which was at 1.93% just the day before, marks a worrisome step for a city that has made drastic progress in fighting the coronavirus. New York City, where more than 23,800 people have died of coronavirus, became the global epicenter of the pandemic in spring, but has recently touted some of the lowest test positivity rates and infection rates among major U.S. cities. In other news, Maryland State extends the deadline for the filing of the 2020 property tax credit. In Waldorf, Eagle News correspondent Chai Masada has the details.
Thank you, Alan. Good news for homeowners and renters in Maryland. You can still file your application for property tax. This is after Maryland State Department of Assessment and Taxation extended the deadline for the application for the 2020 homeowners and renters property tax credit from October 1 to October 31, 2020. Applications filed online through the Maryland One-Step portal with an approval time of 30 to 90 days from the time submitted. It can also be filed by mail through the processing time will not be as fast as those filed online. Reportedly, these two tax credit programs save Marylanders more than $65 million a year. Of the extension, Marylanders can still avail of their property tax reliefs for this year. Governor Larry Hogan, this is another step of the state's administration to ensure more Marylanders remain safe and secure in their homes. The Homeowners Property Tax Credit Program sets a limit amount of the property tax the residents have paid based on their income. On average, homeowners receive a tax credit of more than $1,300 on their tax bill. If payment property taxes have already been made and residents file their application for credit on or prior to October 31st, any tax credit will be refunded to them by their local county finance office. In addition to this, most counties and municipalities extend supplemental homeowners credit to applicants approved for the state homeowners credit. Under the Renters Property Tax Credit Program, on the other hand, renters can receive an average direct payment of about $400 to $1,000. Qualified renters are those whose monthly rentals are in proportion to or compared to the income they receive, but not receive any federal or state housing subsidies or reside in public housing. Renters receive the amount through a direct check payment. Homeowners in Maryland are also encouraged to submit their application for homestead tax credit. This limits the increase in taxable assessments each year to a fixed percentage. In Maryland, counties and municipalities can impose a maximum of 10% increase on taxable assessments. Homestead credit accrues over time and needs to be filed once without any specific deadline. Nearly $20 billion in assessment relief realized every year from homestead credit. In Waldorf, Maryland, Chai Masada, Eagle News, in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Now, Chai, with regards to tax credit, are all homeowners entitled to this?
No, Alan, not all homeowners are entitled to the property tax credit. There are certain requirements they have to meet before they can be eligible for this tax relief. One is that the house for which the application for tax credit is being made should be used for residential purposes only, and that house should be the principal residence of the applicant. Also, one of the requirements is that the combined household gross income should not exceed $60,000, and the applicant's net worth should also not exceed $200,000 as of December 31st, 2019. Alan?
Well, what about after the submission of the application? What happens?
Well, one of three things could happen after the submission of the application, Alan. First, the applicant can receive the tax credit if he is qualified, and if he filed the application before May 2020, so he can get the tax relief or the tax credit on his July property tax bill. But if he is qualified yet he filed it after May 1, 2020, and since he already paid the property tax, then he can get a refund of the tax equivalent to the tax credit. And the third is, well, if the applicant is found out not qualified tax credit, then he gets a letter denying that application.
We appreciate the report, Shai. Always a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you, Alan.
Attention, New Jerseyans. Do you want to know if you've been exposed to coronavirus? You can now download New Jersey's COVID-19 exposure notification app to join the fight against the pandemic. In Union Township, Bureau Chief Carlo Valdez reports.
Thanks, Alan. To help stop the spread of COVID-19, New Jersey Governor Murphy launched an app called COVID Alert NJ. This app is used to notify users of potential COVID-19 exposure, while also making sure it is anonymous and secure. Here's a short video on how it works.
First, apps using this system cannot track your location. And second, this system does not share your identity with Google, Apple, or other users. Here's how that works. For every phone that's opted in, our technology disguises your identity by generating a random sequence of numbers that change every few minutes. Then, using Bluetooth, anytime your phone detects another phone close by that's also opted in, the two exchange those random numbers. If in the future someone's positive for COVID-19, they can report that positive result in their app. Any phones that had exchanged random numbers in the last 14 days will receive a notification that they may have been exposed to COVID-19 without revealing their identity. Public health authorities can then help anyone at risk get testing and treatment. But it's up to all of us to help with contact tracing. Do your part and look for your public health authority app that uses this exposure notifications system. The more people who participate, the sooner we can beat COVID-19 and get our communities back on their feet.
This app will also serve as a pivotal tool to help the effort to trace and contact individuals subject to coronavirus exposure. New Jersey users may download the app at their App Store for Apple and/or the Google Play Store for Android. And as for coronavirus stats and numbers, New Jersey reports of 663 new positive COVID-19 cases, pushing the total to 205,889. Sadly, New Jersey is reporting 5 new COVID-19 deaths, pushing the total to 14,340 lives lost. In Union Township, New Jersey, Carlo Valdez, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
When we come back, updates from our Eagle News correspondents in Corpus Christi, Texas, and Granada Hills, California. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us.
Hello there, I'm Alfred, and I'm a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, batch of 2008 in New Era University. I'm currently working as an operations analyst in Autodesk.
Hi, I'm Earl Escanio, and I graduated with Bachelor of Science major in Computer Science in 2010. I am a consultant at Trinity Consulting LLC.
Hi, I'm Ivy Nakatagal, Bachelor's of Computer Science graduate, year 2010. I'm currently working as a cybersecurity analyst in one of the largest telco here in New Zealand, Coast Park, NZ.
I'm Frank David Riego, a BS Computer Science graduate here in 2015. As a legal analyst, I am tasked to read U.S. cases, specifically civil torts cases.
I am Melanie Rico Hermosity, a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science graduate, year 2006.
I'm currently a software quality assurance engineer at FBI Systems here in Maryland, United States.
Hi, I'm Renzo Cruz. I'm a graduate of BS Computer Science, year 2012. I'm currently working abroad, and I'm working as a senior cybersecurity consultant who specializes in digital forensics and incident response. And I am part of a national security in one of the countries here in the Middle East.
I am inviting everyone to study at New Era University to legit true grit.
Be brilliant in the new era.
Study now at New Era University.
Excellence,
Discipline,
Service to humanity.
You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Baso-Yahe in Los Angeles, California. We have several stories from the Lone Star State tonight. As the November election approaches, Texas Governor Greg Abbott announces how the state is enhancing ballot security. The city of San Antonio illuminates the city red to recognize firefighters. And in Corpus Christi, a story about how a birthday celebrant makes others happy on her special day. In Corpus Christi, Bureau Chief Jane Kathleen Gregoria joins us this evening.
Thank you, Alan, and howdy from the Lone Star State. On Thursday, Governor Greg Abbott issued a proclamation enhancing ballot security protocols for marked mail ballots delivered in person for the November 3rd election. Starting on October 2, the number of locations where Texans can hand-deliver their completed absentee ballots for the November election will be reduced to one drop-off location per county. Political parties may assign poll watchers to observe the in-person ballot deliveries at each location. Governor Abbott stated that these enhanced security protocols will ensure greater transparency and will help stop attempts at illegal voting. Meanwhile, downtown San Antonio will be turning red on the evening of October 3rd after dusk, as the buildings and landmarks will be illuminated in red to honor America's fallen firefighters as part of the Light the Night for Fallen Firefighters program. In addition, the Alamo Dome marquee will display a tribute to San Antonio firefighter Greg P. Garza, who lost his life while on duty October 15, 2019. Businesses throughout the city are invited to light up red this Saturday night, October 3rd, if they are available, and using the hashtag NFFF Light the Night 2020 on social media. For more information, visit www.firehero.org. Now, Alan, and last week, you may remember, we interviewed Corpus Christi resident Sherry Davis, the executive director of Special Hearts for the Arts Theater program, along with her students and their parents. Well, we hear again from Sherry and her team, as this weekend she'll be celebrating her birthday in a unique way by giving back to the community. Let's take a look.
Happy birthday, early birthday to Ms. Davis.
Oh, that's right, Malachi. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Happy birthday,
Sherry. Thank you. I'm doing a blood drive on October 3rd for my birthday at Special Hearts in the Arts. And I'm going to try to get 70 units of blood donated for my 70th birthday.
Oh, wow.
So if you would like to donate or know somebody that will, I'm going to send a flyer out, and I would like to get at least 70 units of blood. They're in desperate need of blood. And so if I can get 70 units of blood between now and October 3rd, the day of the blood drive, because I don't think they can get 70 people in one day. But people can start donating now and just say it's for Special Hearts in the Arts, Sherry's 70th birthday. But that's what I asked for.
That's cool.
If you don't want to give blood, you're going to give cash. I'm going to give blood or cash from you. Work for good. You donate money.
Yeah.
So that'll work.
What can people do to help? What does Special Hearts for the Arts need? Like what are ways that the community can help your organization?
Number one, prayers. Okay. Number two, if they would like to make a monetary donation, they can. They can contact the theater. Our number 774-0033. They can email. They can go to our website. There's donations and some cool videos and an art gallery, picture gallery of the kids and doing different things. If they want to volunteer, we can use volunteers in all kinds of things, all kinds of ways. Just sitting in on a meeting like this with the kids and interacting with them is a big help. And just they get to meet another friend doing that. And so they can do that. Art, we're always in need of art supplies. So just various things like that. Idly, did I leave out anything?
Volunteers. We need volunteers always. And donations. We really do run, the majority of our income comes from donations. We don't get any kind of federal funding or anything. So whatever people can donate, we had a Just 5 campaign that is ongoing all the time. And it's basically, just $5 helps. So anything helps. We appreciate every donation. Every donor gets a personalized thank you from Sherry. She literally sits and handwrites personal thank you notes to everyone. So you'll receive one and be part of our Special Hearts in the Arts family forever. We just need the support of the community as much as possible.
In Corpus Christi, Texas, I'm Jane Kathleen Gregorio, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Well, a very happy birthday to Sherry, and thank you to her for giving back on her special day. But now, Jane, I hear you have a surprise for us here tonight to show.
I do, Alan. I have a surprise for Eagle News, actually. As you heard in her interview, Sherry's assistant was saying that she loves to send personalized thank you. So she actually mailed a personalized thank you to each of the correspondents last week who were there for her interview for Special Hearts. So we received this in the mail as a thank you. As you can see, there's a collage of the pictures of all the Special Hearts students in their performance. And not only that, each of us, including you, Alan, received individual handwritten cards from Sherry Davis herself. And in each card, there's a picture showing some of the Special Hearts, and such as so. And we also have a magnet souvenir reminding us to have the phone number of where to, whoever wanted to volunteer or send donations, here's the information. And in addition to that, some beautiful words from Sherry. In fact, Alan, I will share with you some of the words that she said. For Eagle News, Sherry stated, "What a blessing for all that you have done for Special Hearts in the Arts. The video is awesome, and each of the reporters and the anchor was very impressive in sharing their nonprofit ideas. And I hope that they actually do it. And I've enclosed a thank you letter to each one of them. And just to let you know that Will the Thrilled Mother watched the video and she was crying. And each of you have a beautiful heart. And please know that you are now part of the Special Hearts family. Love, Sherry." So very heartwarming letter from Sherry and the Special Hearts team. Alan?
Jane, over my desk in my office, I do have a large picture frame. I call it the frame of fame. All of the memorabilia that I've collected over the years, letters, photos, it's full, it's packed. I think it's time to make room in my frame of fame because I definitely want to put some of what you've received through Eagle Broadcasting. Thank you so much for that wonderful report.
Thank you, Alan. And look, here's waiting for you. So I'll be sending this letter to you in the mail.
That's definitely going up on my frame of fame. Thanks, Jane.
Thank you.
The Los Angeles Department of Health announced today the timeline for its reopening plan for schools and businesses. Pandemic restrictions, of course, are in place. In Granada Hills, Eagle News correspondent Marites Herrera has more.
Thank you, Alan. Los Angeles lays out the reopening timeline for schools and businesses throughout the county with restrictions. In collaboration with the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, the Los Angeles Public Health Department announces today their plan to update the health officer order to include the reopening of indoor services for the following programs and sectors: nail salons, indoor shopping malls, outside playgrounds, and a school waiver program for grades transitional kindergarten through second grade. Beginning today, nail salons cannot provide services to their customers indoors. Nail salons have made use of their external spaces to continue their businesses outdoors. The LA Public Health has given the green light for them to reopen their indoor services to the public with a limited capacity of 25%, but outdoor services are still encouraged to continue as the order of safety protocols for physical distancing remains. Starting on October 5, schools can complete and submit their school waiver applications for in-person student instruction. This applies only for transitional kindergarten to second grade. Upon approval, schools may begin to...
Church minister.
Preparations to need to reopen to students. This includes the requirement of physical distancing, infection control, and limited capacity. Each classroom is limited to a maximum of 12 children and 2 adults. Beginning October 7, indoor shopping malls can reopen with a limited capacity of 25%. Food courts inside these malls are to remain closed to the public. Outside playgrounds are now reopening at various parks and recreation centers throughout the county, but everyone must still wear the required face coverings and maintain the 6 feet physical distance. This announcement from the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health will bring out positive reactions from the Los Angeles residents who are eager to move forward and see even an inkling of normalcy of life before the pandemic. But the public must proceed with caution as any missteps can result in a setback. Barbara Ferrer, LA Public Health Director, states, as more sectors reopen and more students attend in-person classes in LA County, we must be sure that every business or sector that is reopening complies with 100% of the safety directives. If the new reopenings result in increased community transmission, our recovery journey may need to slow down. The number of the newly reported cases in Los Angeles County is 1,148 and 35 new deaths. The total number of confirmed cases is 271,371, with 6,610 deaths and 746 current hospitalizations are announced today by the Los Angeles Public Health Department. In Granada Hills, California, Marites Herrera, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Hopefully shopping malls will be open again soon. Tess, how do you feel about that?
I'm not much of an indoor shopper. I'm more of online shopping. But my teenagers are gonna be so happy. they'll be bugging me. Pick me, mom. Pick me, mom. And I'll be in the parking lot waiting. No, just kidding.
Well, if your teenagers will be looking for me, they can stand behind me in line for a pretzel. Thank you, Tess, for your report. Up next, updates from our correspondents in Miami, Florida, New York, and Seattle, Washington. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us. The New Era University, in its 45th year of excellence, discipline, and service to humanity, will offer online education all levels beginning this first semester academic year 2020 to 2021 through the NEU Virtual Learning Environment, or NEU VLE. New Era University offers a complete basic education cycle from kindergarten up to senior high school, offering all strands. NEU has 18 colleges, and 2 graduate schools. It also offers ALS and ETM. Best of all, NEU has the most affordable tuition fees among private universities in the Philippines. NEU is at Quezon City, the city of San Fernando, Pampanga, General Santos City, South Cotabato, Lipa City, Batangas, and Pinugay, Baras, Rizal. New Era University is under the stewardship of Dr. Nilo L. Rosas. What are you waiting for? Be part of the new normal. Enroll now. Classes start on October 5, 2020. Welcome back. You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Basayahe in Los Angeles. Let's now head to Florida. In Broward County, and in an effort that no family goes hungry amid the pandemic, meal distribution is extended through the end of the year. In Miami, Eagle News correspondent Zach Lawrence has the details.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, over 14% of South Florida residents reported sometimes or even often not having enough food to eat. Because of this, food distribution events are occurring throughout the nation on state and local levels to help populations in need. These events are aimed at alleviating the pressures families face during this pandemic. Broward County has created a task force of service organizations who have collaborated together to provide its community access to critical resources. Together for, Broward's first priority is helping residents gain access to nutritious food. Multiple food distribution events are occurring daily at multiple locations throughout the county. Families with students under 18 can pick up free meals at a select number of local schools, while any Broward County resident can pick up meals from various locations throughout the county. These events will occur weekly until the end of the year. Individuals needing assistance can utilize the food distribution finder located on the county's website, broward.org. In Miami, Florida, Zachary Lawrence, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
For tonight's business news, Bobby Soriano in New York updates us on technology, airline furloughs, and the hope for a new stimulus package.
U.S. markets have closed for today. Here are the latest headlines. A Senate panel voted today to subpoena the heads of the largest tech companies to answer questions regarding the responsibilities in an ever-growing digital age. The Commerce Committee voted unanimously to call upon Jack Dorsey of Twitter, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, and Sundar Pichai of Google parent Alphabet to address concerns on various topics including disinformation, online scams, and the regulation of harmful content. The subpoena comes as more and more people rely entirely on social media and online news outlets to get information about the most pressing issues of the day, such as the ongoing civil unrest in the nation and the upcoming presidential election. United and American Airlines, the country's two largest airlines, have begun the furloughing of 13,000 and 19,000 employees, respectively. Business for the airline industry continues to be hampered by lower customer demand due to the global pandemic, and shares for both United and American have yet to return to their pre-COVID highs. The CEOs for both companies, however, have expressed hope that a bailout from the federal government will allow them to maintain operations and cancel the furloughs. Speaking of bailouts, all eyes continue to remain on Washington for hopes of a new stimulus package by U.S. lawmakers. Recent statements made by Democratic House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin have alluded to an ongoing disagreement in how to provide financial assistance to the largest economy in the world. The disagreement continues to stem from how financial aid should be distributed between businesses, state and local budgets, and American citizens. Lawmakers, however, continue to remain optimistic that an agreement will be reached, with House Speaker Pelosi announcing plans to move forward with a vote on the Democratic coronavirus aid package in the House. Stocks today ended only slightly positive, with news that stimulus talks have stalled and economic data for the country showing a slowing down of the recovery. Reporting from New York, Bobby Soriano, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
After a roller coaster season, the first NBA Finals game to be played in the bubble is in the books. And the Lakers didn't just come out on top, they dominated. Our ABC Sports International panelist Michael Hudson has the story.
Thanks a lot. What's up, sports fans? Game 1 of the NBA Finals was held last night in the NBA bubble in Orlando, Florida, where the Los Angeles Lakers, led by LeBron James and Anthony Davis, took on Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat, where many predict the Lakers to win this series in a landslide. Well, the predictors were proved right as the Lakers easily took Game 1 of the best-of-7 series 116-98. Anthony Davis led all scorers with 34 points and 9 rebounds as LeBron almost logged a triple-double with 25 points, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists. The first minutes of the game were very exciting, with the Heat looking very strong, hitting the first 5 shots, and Jimmy Butler leading the way. But the Lakers soon relaxed and clamped down on the defensive end, holding the Heat to an abysmal 42% shooting from a field goal percentage and 31% from three-point land, which is by far the team's strength. Jimmy Butler led the Heat with 23 points and looked very strong throughout the game until he severely twisted his left ankle in the second quarter, but he still did finish the game. However, it was a different story for Heat guard Goran Dragic and center Bam Adebayo, who each suffered from a foot and wrist injury respectively in the second half of the game and did not return. There's still no timetable yet for the injured players' return, but it is safe to say that the Heat have a lot of adjusting to do if they want to hang with the Lakers in this series.
LeBron James commented on how the Lakers overcame an early 13-point deficit to take Game 1.
Paying attention to detail. I don't think in the beginning that we were physical enough, and you have to get a feel for how hard Miami plays. And I think, they smacked us in the mouth, and we got a sense of that. And so we knew how hard we had to play if we wanted to try to make it a game. And, from that moment when it was 23-10, we started to play to our capabilities. We started flying around. We started getting defensive stops in. We started sharing the ball a lot better offensively and just got into a really good groove.
He also spoke about how it was to play his first NBA Finals without fans in the stands and their mentality about going forward in the series.
It felt great. I've been preparing for this moment for quite a while. And fans, no fans, the inner challenge for myself and the way I prepared myself, it felt amazing to be playing in the finals once again. You got so much more work to do. The job is not done. We're not satisfied with winning one game. It's that simple.
Game 2 will be this Friday. Michael Hudson, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you.
More EBC Sports from Tampa, Florida. a step-by-step tutorial on how to make an apple galette by Aika Chong of Fremont, California, and a conversation about that hairstyle you wish you never had. That's next. This is Eagle News America. We will return shortly. Stay with us.
Ngayong linggo, abangan ang nakakaantig na performance ng On-Cue Dance Company sa first monthly finals ng mas pinalawak at mas pinalaking talent competition on Philippine television and online. Tagisan ng Galing Part 2 Dance Edition dito lang sa Net 25.
You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Basoyahe in Los Angeles. The pandemic might have stopped sports for a while, but many professional leagues found ways to continue. The NHL was one such league. And just a few days ago, it crowned the 2020 Stanley Cup champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning. In Florida, the celebration continues. Abby Aragon with the story.
It's been 16 years since the Tampa Bay Lightning last hoisted Lord Stanley's Cup. After an unprecedented NHL season, the Lightning were able to bring the cup home. Excited fans shared their reaction during the victory parade.
I moved here in 1992, the year the Lightning started. I ditched the Rangers. I'm from upstate New York. I've had season tickets ever since. 10 rows off the ice, and I have the loudest whistle in the stadium. Better believe it. Go Bolts! Go! Champions. Jerseys of champions here. Well, you know, you got to adopt a hometown team. A lot of these transients here in Tampa, you know, everybody's from all over the United States, and they keep their teams. I felt like I had to adopt this team. Well, I think it shows resilience in the team by getting swept last year. They came out, started winning again, started being successful. Even with all the changes in the core, even the people for calling for Cooper's head, the coach, they just kept on grinding, even with the changes and the injuries. And they had one goal in mind, and they succeeded. Steven Stamkos, by far the captain. He didn't get to play the last game. He only got like a minute and so in. But that minute so in and that goal that he scored sparked the team. And from there, it's just no turning back. The interchangeable parts, so the parts that they bring in, and everybody's just on the same page. They work hard. They work very hard together for their success. Hey, you know what? We're not fair weather fans down here. We have a great bunch of people. A lot of people knock Tampa Bay and everything for their teams just because we're not one of the original six, just because we don't have ice on the ground here and it doesn't snow, doesn't mean that we don't bring the thunder. Well, it says a lot about our Florida fans. Again, they're transients, but a lot of people are transient. Not a lot of homegrown around here. A lot of room on this wagon to support this team, and I'm proud to be part of it. Hey, that's the toughest thing in the world to do. I don't know. That would be fantastic. I'm optimistic. All I got to say is go Bolts. I'll be there for you, boys.
I was at all the playoffs last time, every game. This is awesome, but I don't, you know, I was there for Game 7, and that was an incredible experience. It's like an experience of a lifetime. This is amazing, and it was fun watching it at home, but it would have been nice to be there. More playoff runs, possibly more cups soon to come. The Tampa Bay Lightning fans are serious about hockey, and we love our Lightning.
In Tampa, Florida, Abby Aragon, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Did you hear that whistle? Fans, I guess, are calling down the Lightning. Congratulations, Tampa Bay. ABC friend Aika Chong invites us tonight to her kitchen in Fremont, California, and shows us how to make this yummy dessert perfect with coffee or tea. Take a look. Now we're sure that that dessert would put a smile on our face, and with that butter, some shine to our hair. And speaking of, today is National Hair Day. In celebration, we want to ask our team about, that hairstyle, that one hairstyle, that maybe they wish they never had. And maybe we're even talking about our stay at home. Oh, there he is. I recognize that guy. Ladies and gentlemen, that's teenage Alan. I remember him quite well. He was so full of angst and potential. But quite incredible guy. Anyway, why don't we move on from teenage angst Alan and let's speak to our correspondents, Chai, Jane, Kathleen, and Tess. Let's start first with you, Chai. You don't by chance have a flattering picture of yourself, do you?
Well, I don't have it with me now, Alan, and I'd rather not show it to you guys. But yeah, one hairstyle that I'd rather forget, and I wish I didn't have. Well, I remember when I was in grade school, I had this very short cut, like the bob cut, and then the very straight hair bands. Like they used a ruler to cut my hair for my band. So, when you're a kid, it's your parents who decide your hairstyle for you. You don't have a say on it. So, yeah. So when I probably 12, I insisted on growing my bangs to have my hair like one length because I didn't really like that hairstyle. So, but Alan, I'm not adventurous when it comes to hairstyle. I always wear my hair short, shoulder length. So it's not really that my hairstyle had a big change from that kind of hairstyle in grade school. It's just that I don't have my bangs now. I don't like it. Alan.
Well, you know, Chai, I totally understand what you're talking about with the straight bangs. I had that as well. And you're right, it's our parents. My mom was the one who cut my hair as a child. And, you know, I just want to add to your, what you gave us, Chai. There was a reason as a child why I never liked to eat dinner. Because the same bowl that we would eat dinner from would be the bowl that she'd use on top of my head to cut my bangs straight. Again, I joke, I jest. Thank you, Chai. If you come up with a picture one of these days, we certainly like to see it. Let's move on to Jane Kathleen. Jane Kathleen, if you don't have a picture, I'm going to start suspecting that I've been set up. What do you have for us?
Well, Alan, I don't have a picture, but going back to your topic about your parents using the dinner bowl, I hope they washed the bowl first before they used it for your hair.
It was definitely flavorful, our dinners, Jane.
Well, with regards to horrible haircuts from the past or hairstyles from the past, I guess I would have to say, like, I decided to visit one of the discounted hairstylists in my town, and you know, it was a very, very, very reasonable discounted price. So, like, okay, let's check it out. Needless to say that it wasn't my favorite haircut. It was a bob cut that was not very flattering for my face. So on top of that, a friend offered, hey, I can try to do some colored highlights to help accentuate your haircut until it grows back. Okay, let's try to remedy it. Well, the highlight she used was supposed to be blonde, like blonde frosting, but it ended up coming out gray. So let's just say my hairstyle was decades ahead of its time.
Well, that certainly sounds like you're ahead of your time. You know, you just reminded me, because you're talking about hairstyling faux pas. I myself also had something like that happen to me. There was a time when I would get my the clippers. They would use clippers on the sides of my head, like a lot of gentlemen do. And the number clipper that I would get would be number 3 on the sides of my head. I don't know why, but the hairstylist on that day didn't hear 3. For some reason, the hairstylist heard 0. And literally, I just heard a buzz, and then it was completely bald on just that little streak. I looked and I yelped. I yelped like a poor dog that's been left out in the rain. And so just like you, I had to find an alternative to try to cover it up. So I used hair in a can. To spray paint the side of my head where the 0 buzz happened. And you know what? It took about a month for it to grow back. And I don't know if my coworkers and friends noticed, but I really made sure that whenever I talked to them, not to turn my head in a certain direction. Thanks, Jane, for sharing with us about your hair story. Now, let's move on to my fellow Angelino, Marites. Now, Marites, you and I are kind of almost in the same time frame. You saw my picture with my roller coaster hair. It took, you know, hours of hairspray and blow dryer treatment for that to happen. Teenage
I think I remember that picture.
Yeah, I think so. What about you? Talk to us.
Hairstyle I did not like. Unfortunately, I don't have a hairstyle I didn't like. I'm in the choir, so my hair is long and black. But you can't really do much with that kind of hairstyle. So, but I do have a favorite part. When you already mentioned it, we are in the same era. The 90s have the bangs that goes up as high as you can, and you tease it out, and the hairspray is going, Aquanet's going all over the place. That's my favorite. That's my favorite one.
You know, Tessa, I actually remember you back then. I think you were about 6'3" or 6'4" with your hair all the way up.
And a 2-inch heel, so I'm way high.
Well, friends, thank you so much for sharing with us your hairstyles you wish you never had, or maybe a little bit of what you were proud of. And now we come to the part of our broadcast where we're going to continue to thank our frontliners, first responders, and essential workers. Join me in a round of applause. We appreciate you. That is today's Eagle News America. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alan Basoyahe. We live in interesting times.
Established 1975, rising in the list of top-performing universities in the country, a pioneer in inclusive education and an institution with a dynamic education in response to societal needs. With already 5 campuses throughout the country, this is the New Era University. These are the programs offered in the branches outside of Metro Manila, starting off with the New Era University, Pampanga branch. This is the first branch outside of Metro Manila and now offers complete basic education, K-12 and collegiate programs. For the basic education, preschool, nursery, kinder, elementary, grades 1 to 6, junior high school, grades 7 to 10, and senior high school, grades 11 to 12. These are the available strands for senior high school for academics, STEM, ABM, HUMS, technical, vocational, industrial arts, ICT, home economics, and for sports, human movement and safety and first aid. For the New Era University Lipa branch, initially offering preschool and elementary, the branch now offers secondary education program,